In 2003, Real Madrid sold a player nobody wanted to keep. He wasn't a superstar, he didn't score goals, he didn't make the highlight reels, he didn't sell shirts. The president of Real Madrid, one of the richest clubs in the world, said they didn't need him, that they could replace him with a young player for a fraction of the cost. His name was Claude Makelele. What happened next became one of the most important lessons in the history of football tactics. Real Madrid collapsed. Zidane, the greatest player on the planet at the time, looked at the empty space Makelele left and said something that changed how the world understood football forever. He said, "We have painted over a Picasso." That one sentence turned a quiet, uncelebrated defensive midfielder into the most analysed position in the modern game. And it started a conversation that football is still having today. This is the story of the holding midfielder. When Herbert Chapman invented the WM formation in 1925, the holding midfielder didn't have a name. He was just the deeper of the two central midfielders, sitting, screaming, protecting, doing the work nobody noticed. But football was spreading, and as it spread, every country that adopted the game found their own version of that player. In Italy, they called the role a mediano. In Brazil, it was the volante. In Argentina, the cinco. Different names, same idea. One player sitting deep, breaking up play, allowing the creative players ahead of him to express themselves freely. By the 1950s, the position existed everywhere, but it still had no universal identity. No moment that made the world stop and say, that player, that role, that is what we have been missing. That moment came in 1953, and it happened at Wembley. England had never lost a home match against a team from outside Britain. Wembley was considered a fortress. And on the 25th of November 1953, Hungary came to London and destroyed that myth completely. They won 6-3. But the scoreline is not the point. The point is how they did it. Hungary played with a player called Nandor Hidegkuti, who looked like a centre-forward, but played nothing like one. He dropped deep. He collected the ball in midfield. He pulled England's centre-back out of position every single time. England's defenders had never seen anything like it. Do you follow him and leave space behind you? Or do you hold your position and let him receive the ball freely? There was no right answer. Hungary had broken the defensive system completely. Hidegkuti scored a hat-trick, and for the first time, the world saw what happened when a deep-lying creative player had the freedom to operate between the lines, protected by a defensive midfielder holding everything together behind him. The position was no longer invisible. The world was starting to pay attention. Fast forward 50 years. Real Madrid, 2003. Makelele had been the foundation of the greatest squad ever assembled. Zidane, Ronaldo, Figo, Beckham. Every one of those players could express themselves freely because Makelele was behind them, covering every blade of grass, breaking up every attack, protecting every space. When he left, nobody replaced what he actually did. They replaced his position on the team sheet. They put another body in that role and assumed it would work the same way. It didn't. Real Madrid went from dominant to vulnerable overnight, and the football world finally understood something it had been ignoring for 80 years. The holding midfielder is not a luxury. He is the foundation everything else is built on. You do not notice a foundation when it is there. You only notice it when it is gone. Makelele left. The building shook, and football finally gave the position the recognition it deserved. Managers started building entire systems around that one role. Scouts started identifying players specifically for that function. The number 6 became the most important number on the pitch.
Today, the holding midfielder is everywhere, and yet somehow still underappreciated by casual fans. Sergio Busquets at Barcelona, Casemiro at Manchester United, Rodri at Manchester City. 3 players, 3 different interpretations of the same role that Herbert Chapman accidentally created in 1925. Busquets, the most intelligent reader of the game in his generation, never running when he could think, always one step ahead. Casemiro, the destroyer, physical, aggressive, the player opponents hate facing. Rodri, the complete modern version, defends like Makelele, distributes like Busquets, wins like a champion. One position, 100 years of evolution, and it all started with a gap on a pitch in 1925 that nobody planned for. Next episode, we look at the player who broke every defensive system ever built, the striker who refused to stay up front, the false 9.